Dear students, welcome to lecture 3 of week 6, wherein we have been talking about risk and quality in export orders. Today, we are going to talk about compliance with international standards. Let us begin the journey. At the outset, we will try to go towards the contents of today's discussion. We will be starting with the concept as well as introduction and importance of international compliance, followed by objectives and types of standards. After that, we will focus on key international bodies and framework, followed by ISO and industry specific standards. After that, we will try to understand the certification and conformity assessment process in line with national quality infrastructure and MRAs. Also, we will try to dig deep into compliance in food, environmental, and social sectors. After that, we will talk about trade facilitation and institutional support, after which we will conclude the discussion. At the outset, it is imperative to appreciate the fact that international trade requires adherence to globally accepted quality as well as the safety norms. Quality is one of the basic criteria to enter international and global markets and to capture the markets. Similarly, safety norms are the parameters based on which the reputation of exporter is judged in international market. These safety norms and standards also provide confidence and trust between exporter and importer. In addition to it, compliance ensures that export products meet all the legal, technical, and performance requirements of the importing countries. Each country has different perspective of performance requirements as well as legal and technical requirements. To cater to country-specific legal and technical requirements is a challenging task for an exporter. Yet, the task has to be completed based on the compliance measures. Also, the quality and safety norms fosters trust between exporters, importers as well as regulators. In case of non-compliance, there can be huge rejection of the goods. Financial losses may be incurred to the exporters as well as there can be reputational damage to the exporters. Let us try to focus on the concept of international compliance. International compliance refers to conformity of the goods with global standards, international laws, and technical regulations governing trade. There are certain international regulations and standards that determine whether an exporter can go into the global markets and can sustain in the global markets or not. These are not the added features, rather, they are the basic features for exporters to consider entering into the global market. Also, these international compliance issues includes the product itself which is being exported, the process through which product is being exported, the environmental concerns which are related to the product as well as the social standards that have been set with respect to the product. In case of international compliance, when it is successful, it ensures safety, reliability, as well as sustainability of products across borders. In an age where environment and flora and fauna needs to be protected for the future generation, sustainability of the products is an emerging phenomenon. Thus, the global international compliance standards are looking towards those goods that are sustainable for the global markets. In addition to this, international compliance also facilitates mutual recognition and smooth market access for the exporters. Dear students, let us now try to understand the importance of standardization in global trade. Standardization refers to the conforming of the goods quality and specification according to the global standards. The standardization method in global trade creates uniformity and predictability in international transactions. Not only this, it simplifies product acceptance and reduces technical barriers to trade as well. The technical barriers to trade are basically the barriers that relates to the standards that a product should follow, or it is the quality parameters of a product. Thus, these technical barriers are sometimes very difficult for the exporter to meet out due to the international standards that are being in place. Standardization in global trade also simplifies other important issues related to consumer safety, trust, and satisfaction. Standardization also builds brand credibility and long term buyer relationship, which ultimately facilitates the global trade. Also, standardization promotes efficiency, innovation, and competitiveness among the different players which are exporting goods globally. Let us now try to understand and appreciate the objectives of compliance with international standards. The first objective is to ensure product acceptance in global market. In order for the exporter that its products be accepted in the global market, it is very important that the products must comply with international standards. Second objective is to prevent disputes, rejections, or penalties due to non-conformance. At times it happens that goods lack some international standards, and due to that the goods may be rejected after delivery. Also, there are cases where goods may be totally rejected and thus may arise different levels of disputes. If the goods are of inferior quality or do not meet the international standards, there may also be penalties on the exporter, which not only discourages the exporter but also the exporter has to bear huge losses. The third objective is to safeguard consumer health, safety, and environment. The consumer's health is an important parameter and it should not deteriorate or there should not be hazard to the health by using of the goods. In addition to it, the safety which comes with the usage of goods is also an important criteria. Thus, these concerns should be considered according to the international standards. The fourth objective is to strengthen exporter reputation and buyer confidence. When goods are produced and sold according to the international standards, there is a trust which develops between the exporter and the importer, that is, seller and the buyer. This trust then transforms into buyer's confidence because buyer can give repeat orders to the exporters as well as the exporter's reputation improves and may get more such clients. The fifth and the last objective of international standards is to align domestic production with international best practices. Each country wants to explore and exploit the global international markets. And to explore and exploit the global trade markets, it is important that the domestic production should match the international standards which are being set and in place in the international markets. Thus, compliance with international standards promotes domestic production to be in line with international standards. Let us now try to focus on types of international standards. The international standards vary according to the category, and each category has its own relevance. The first type of international trade is the product standards. All the international standards that pertains to the product itself, such as specifications related to designs, performance of the product, as well as the labeling on the product. The second type of international standards is the process standards, the methods that have been adopted or used to produce the good, systems that ensure consistency and control in the production of the good. The third type of international standard is the management standards, which talk about frameworks like ISO 9001 for assuring the organizational quality which is which backs the products. The fourth type of international standards is environmental and social standards. These international standards address issues such as sustainability, ethics, and labor conditions which are being used during the course of production or which are followed by the company itself. And finally, the last type is the testing and certification standards that define inspection measures and conformity procedures for the goods. All these international standards play a different role yet achieve the objective of making products competitive, standardized, as well as giving opportunity to the exporters to enter global markets. Let us now try to understand some of the key international standardization bodies. These are the bodies that from time to time determines the international standards for exporters, goods and services. The first is ISO, that is International Organization for Standardization. This organization presents the global standards across different sectors. The second is IEC, that is International Electrotechnical Commission. This particular international organization is concerned with electrical and electronic items standards. The third is Codex Alimentarius Commission, which deals with food safety and quality guidance. This includes FAO, such as Food and Agriculture Organization, as well as World Health Organization. The next is OIE, that is Organization for Animal Health, and IPPC, International Plant Protection Convention. These standards are used for animal and plant health related products. The next is WTO. Under WTO, we have TBT, that is Technical Barriers to Trade, and SPS agreements and measures, that is sanitary and phytosanitary measures. These international standards regulate application of technical and sanitary standards in trade. The sanitary standards deal with safety and technical standards deal with the specifications. Let us now try to go into the detail. If we talk about ISO standards that are relevant to export trade, they include ISO 9001, which is used for identifying the quality management systems, ISO 14001, which is used for identification of the environmental management system, ISO 22000, which is relevant for food safety management systems, ISO 45001, which is relevant to occupational health and safety, and ISO 50001, which is relevant for energy management systems. Not only these, all the ISO standards certification demonstrate reliability, safety, as well as global acceptance of the products. There are also some industry specific global standards which are used internationally, such as HACCP, that is Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points, which is used in food safety products. GMP, Good Manufacturing Practices, that are used in pharmaceuticals and cosmetics production. CE mark, that is used in European Union, where compliance for safety and environmental protection is considered. RoHS, that is restriction of hazardous substances, which is used in the production of electronics. REACH, that is registration, evaluation, authorization, and restriction of chemicals, that are used to regulate chemical standards and chemical substances in European Union. And finally, Fair Trade, FSC, GOTS. Such type of global standards are the ethical and sustainable trade certifications. Let us now try to understand the product certification marks and schemes. Different product may have different type of certification marks through which the consumers and the importers may identify the compliance as with the international standards. Certification marks signal conformity with mandatory or voluntary standards. Examples include CE certification in European Union, UL in United States of America, BIS, Bureau of Indian Standards in India, ISO mark halal in Middle East, kosher in certain other countries. These product certification marks and schemes facilitate customs clearance and consumer acceptance. These schemes are different type of voluntary marks like ISO. These enhance competitiveness. Mandatory ones also ensure legal compliance. The benefit with certified products is that they enjoy better access and higher credibility in the global markets. Let us now try to understand the conformity assessment and accreditation. The, conform, the conformity assessment is the process of testing, inspection, and certification to verify compliance. On the other hand, accreditation is the process of formal recognition of competence of testing or certifying bodies. In India, National Accreditation Board for Testing and Calibration Laboratories, that is NABL, and National Accreditation Board for Certification Bodies, that is NABCB, perform accreditations according different sectors. These conformity assessment and accreditation ensures uniform evaluation and international recognition of conformity results. Let us now try to focus on mutual recognition agreements. Mutual recognition agreements between are the agreements between countries to recognize each other's conformity assessment results. These agreements reduce duplication of testing and certification cost. These agreements also facilitate smoother and faster market access. For example, India's Export Inspection Council has mutual recognition agreement with several trading partners, that is several countries. These agreements also promote trust between the countries, transparency in the operations, and trade facilitation in the global markets. Let us now try to understand the role of national quality infrastructure. The national quality infrastructure comprises of the standards, metrology, accreditation, and conformity assessment system which are prevalent and applicable in a country. These infrastructure systems ensures that domestic quality framework aligns with the global standards. For example, in India, they include BIS, NABL, NABCB, EIC for the key pillars which we have already discussed in the previous slides. These national quality infrastructure systems strengthens the exporter readiness for global certification and compliance. In addition, they reduce technical barriers and promotes consistency. It is time for us to dig deep into compliance in food and agricultural exports. We all are aware that food and agricultural exports are the most risky type of products because of several factors such as perishability, such as the use of pesticides, the, the probability of having some infections, etc. These compliances are subject to stringent, that is strict safety and hygiene regulations. Food and agricultural exports must conform to international standards and compliance certifications such as Codex, HACCP, ISO 22000, and any other international country laws. For example, for USA, FDA, for European Union, its own food law, etc. Food and agricultural products requires traceability, labeling, and pesticide residue management. For example, with respect to India, exporters in India operate under APDA, MPEDA, and EIC frameworks. Also, it requires regular audits and sampling, which can ensure the consistent compliance in food and agricultural products. The environmental and social compliance is also an important parameter in today's world where sustainable development goals are the norms in global markets as well. There is an increasing global emphasis on sustainability and ethical production. Standards such as ISO 14001, SA 8000, and Fair Trade certification address these issues of environmental and social concerns. The buyers or the importers prefer suppliers who meet ESG criteria, that is environmental, social, and governance criteria. Sometimes these criteria are also understood in the manner that they are promoting the planet as well as people. So they are the products which care about our planet, that is environmental, about people, that is social, and about the governance structure. With the rise in industrialization, there has been a huge negative impact on the climate. Therefore, we are seeing climate change. Similarly, the uses of products also result in some kind of impact on the planet. Thus, under ESG, buyers prefers those suppliers who are providing goods that are not against planets, rather promotes the environment and are also safe for the people. These type of compliances improves reputation, investor confidence, and market access. In addition to this, these compliances, that is environmental and social compliances, encourages responsible production and supply chain transparency. Dear students, let us now focus on documentation and traceability in compliance. The documentation and traceability is important. There is a requirement that accurate and updated documentation should support the verification and audit process. These compliances include certificates, test reports, inspection notes, and chain of custody records. There is also an issue of traceability. Traceability ensures accountability throughout the supply chain of an exporter. Documentation and traceability in compliance is essential for sectors like food, pharmaceuticals, and chemicals. With the use of digital technology, digital document has also been used now, and these documents can enhance reliability as well as they can reduce the delays in exporting process. Let us now try to focus on the trade facilitation through international compliance. International compliance always promotes global trade because it improves the reliability of the products as well as improves the trust between the trading partners. Harmonized standards simplify cross border trade procedures, thus facilitating the trade. The compliances, that is international compliances, also minimizes duplication of testing, certification and inspection. When duplication is minimized, this also reduces the cost of the exporter as extra burden is not imposed. Another important issue is that international compliance recognizes certifications, and these certifications expedite customs clearance and buyer's acceptance. International compliances also facilitate trade by supporting mutual recognition under WTO's technical barriers to trade and SPSS, that is sanitary and phytosanitary framework. The international compliance also facilitate trade by strengthening integration of exports into integration of exporters into global supply chains and trade agreements. Let us now try to see the important role of capacity building and institutional support for exporters. The business environment for exporters should be such that they are properly trained from time to time and given some technical assistance. To provide and achieve these two objectives, capacity building mechanism and institutional support for exporter is provided by the government. Government programs thus provide training and technical assistance for exporters. There are different organizations such as EIC, BIS, APEDA, FIEO, and DGFT that conduct awareness drives on standards and certification. There are also different collaborations with international bodies such as United Nations, International Trade Commission, World Trade Organization, which enhances technical competence. Not only this, there are different schemes that help small and medium enterprises adopt international quality and environmental standards. These institutional support thus ensures inclusive and sustainable compliance capacity for exporters. Dear students, let us now conclude what all we have discussed in today's discussion. We have agreed upon that compliance with international standards is essential for sustainable export. We have also identified that international standards compliance ensures global market acceptance, consumer safety, and brand credibility. The institutional frameworks and technological tools enhance efficiency and trust, and thus they are important. We have also learned that capacity building programs which are given by the government and awareness programs are important for maintaining compliance, particularly for small and medium enterprises who do not have access to technical know-how. Thus, in the end, adherence to international standards transforms exporters into reliable global players. Dear students, thank you very much for being with me in this session.